The Maine Nurse Practitioners Association gathered today in Augusta. Nurse practitioners are educated and trained to diagnose, treat, and prescribe patients, which this year marks 30 years in the state of Maine. At the event, MPs discussed the current shortage of healthcare providers, specifically in rural areas, and how they can help address that. Also adding that there are 6 tracks to get licensing, with a large portion of students staying in the state. They say that today is a great opportunity to speak with lawmakers about the occupation.
There's more than 50 years of evidence to suggest that we're high-quality, cost-effective healthcare providers. There's about 3,700 nurse practitioners in Maine. There's still a shortage of healthcare providers in Maine, particularly in rural areas. There's a huge demand for more healthcare providers. Nurse practitioners can really fill that gap.
Caring for patients in Maine is really our passion, and we want to continue to elevate our profession and take care of more patients safely, evidence-based practice in the state of Maine.
A public hearing for a bill looking to do away with a 2-year supervisory period for MPs that supporters say is unnecessary was held in April. Lawmakers, along with the group, decided to carry over that bill to next year's session.